What's up, everybody? Hey, hey, hey! This is Robert Ferguson, Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson. Yes, I am your nutritionist. I'm a guy who shares because I care. And today I'm going to show you a man who he got to 700 pounds. 700 pounds. Now, I'm going to share with you what happens with this person and how, whether it's 700 pounds or whether you got 40 pounds or 50 pounds or 20 pounds or 200 pounds to lose, there's a way to do it. And it's called the three-legged stool. So now that I have your attention, do me a favor and always read what we provide below. There's always some links. We have a free newsletter. Yes. Sign up for the free newsletter. And with that newsletter, you get recipes, you get updates, any special things that take place, we will let you know through the newsletter. Man, what a week it has been. Seriously. Now, I'm going to show you this video clip with this man who had over 700 pounds to lose. And I'm going to show it because it's part of what I want you to get from our time together. Because a lot of people want to lose weight. And as you can see with the continuous excitement around wanting to take these weight loss drugs, people are just looking for anything. They are. Now, I can say that because I developed an evidence-based, clinically proven program that has helped thousands of people, thousands, eat foods that they love, that they like, that they enjoy, and lose weight and establish a lifestyle where they don't gain it back. Now, there's a lot of people that talk quite a bit about weight loss, and they will mention evidence-based, which is good. That's definitely a step in the right direction. But many of them are not clinically proven. I can't really tell you any that are clinically proven, where it's all based on nutrition education. So if you catch me talking about weight loss, and let's say you're overweight and you're trying different things, well, if you overlook what we're able to provide you, then I don't know if you call that just total ignorance, a little bit of stupidity. And I'm not being mean, because when something works and it's validated, verified, and is reproducible, and it works for all ethnicities, all people, all social economic situations, wouldn't you want to learn about it? Well, part of the challenge when it comes to losing weight is that people don't respectfully look at the three-legged stool. Like, they'll get the nutrition part, then you got the fitness part. Some people like fitness, can't stand the nutrition, and then they forget about the mental part. And sometimes the mental part is what blocks people from wanting to learn something different. It's like I had a lady that I was working with for maybe not even 3 weeks. She came on board. I began to take her through a process. And then she goes, the program's not working for me. And I said, I'm sorry, ma'am, but you didn't work the program. You don't know hardly anything. And a big part of what we do is educate people. And so there's a learning curve to that. And as you learn and apply and learn and apply and learn on apply, you establish habits that become your lifestyle. So it's baby steps. Now, each one of these legs on the three-legged stool, and I'm going to say it again because I want to stress this, are equally important. Being active is equally important as eating the right way. The way you eat, your nutrition approach, is equally important to your mindset. And if you gave each one of those legs 33%, 33 times 3 would give you 99%. So there's 1% that's missing. And I'm a big believer in the tipping point, meaning each one of us would benefit from being able to identify, do I need to put a little bit more energy into my nutrition? Do I need to put a little bit more energy into my being active? Or maybe for me, it's more about motivation and staying inspired and the mindset. That 1% that's left over, that's where you put or you place it on those 3 legs. In different parts of my life, I would put the 1% in different places, right? So when I was working out 2 times a day because I like working out 2 times a day. It was fun. It was just part of my lifestyle. I had the mindset. So mindset and activity, I was good. I benefited most when I put that 1%, that little extra energy into my nutrition. And then when the babies were born and I just couldn't get into fitness, it just wasn't working out, then that's where I put my emphasis was how am I going to make this work? I got the nutrition down. I got the mindset down, but I'm having a tough time. So I had to come up with strategies to get the activity to work. I've never been in a place where I've missed or was lacking on the mindset part. Maybe it's my being a former Marine or being an athlete my entire life, or just maybe the way I'm wired, but I've never struggled there. But I have a lot of clients that's where they struggle. They got the fitness down. They don't mind walking. They don't mind exercising. They got that down. They got the food down, no problem. But they tend to burn out. They get bored. They lack inspiration. Motivation starts to wane. And that's where having a coach comes into play, because the coach is a reminder. So I know this, and every coach I know, no matter if they're a coach of jujitsu, a coach in nutrition, a coach in fitness, a coach in singing, a coach in dancing, having that coach makes all the difference for a lot of people. And unfortunately, many people may choose the wrong coach, or maybe they just can't afford to get a coach. But when you have a coach and you understand the 3-legged stool, and you know where you could benefit most by putting that 1% in the area where you're going to benefit most, that's when it becomes a game changer. Now, as I have you, if you have any questions about anything, please bring it my way. Yesterday, we were talking about Ozempic again, and still I've been putting it out there. Can't get any doctors to debate me. I've had them say they would, but they won't, because it's not going to go well for them. And I'm saying that with the utmost confidence. I know it's not. It's just the reality. And then we talked a little bit about metformin, one of the most popular drugs in the world. People usually go on metformin for, type 2 diabetes. Sometimes doctors will tell them it's for weight loss, but there was these big lies out there pushing people to jump on metformin for longevity. And as I was having the conversation, I actually had another conversation with someone this morning, and they basically called me to apologize because they went and did their due diligence, and they saw the studies that I was referring to. And I have those studies if anybody ever wants to see those studies. And they learned that when you, like in the one study that really got their attention, right, is when you're taking metformin, okay, and you're exercising, down to the mitochondria, right, the powerhouse cell, right, in your body that makes everything possible. When you take metformin, it literally blocks the benefits, like over 50% of the benefits you would get from the exercise, just taking metformin. Think about that. That's crazy. And, you have to go back to, high school science, right? When you understand the Krebs cycle, it's like if a person took some cyanide, they would die pretty instantly. And we know that part of the mitochondria dies or is blocked in a big way. And when that happens, you die. So taking metformin, there could be an argument that it actually ages you faster than reversing the aging process. That's pretty scary when people are real quick to just jump on something because it makes sense and they're hearing it from someone who's an authority. And many of those authorities now are backtracking, the same as they backtrack on some of the statements they made early with the pandemic. They told you to go left, go left, go left. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you going left? Go left, go left. What's your problem? Go left. Oh, no, go right, go right. Yeah, we were wrong. Go right. And in between telling us to go left and then telling us to go right, whether it's 6 months or a year, 18 months, how many people didn't make it? Because they just assumed what they were being told was the right thing. See, when it comes to weight loss and getting in shape, I'm all about do it the right way. Do it the right way. And I've eaten crow. I've made some mistakes back in the day. I remember telling people, hey, grapeseed oil. Um, 20 years ago, I told people, yeah, grapeseed oil is a good oil to cook with. And it's not. It's not. And I wish I could find every person I ever told that to. And it was thousands of people that I've shared that with. It was through books, it was through programs. And I feel horrible every day when I think about it because grapeseed is a seed oil. It causes inflammation. It's a big part of the problems, the health problems that people are experiencing. So yeah, I feel horrible about it. Horrible. And one of the good things about when you have a certification, you have coaches that you work with, is that they're passionate about what they do. And they may come and check me on certain things and may teach me some things or may call me on some things because through them, as well as the work I'm doing, you're reaching a lot of people. And eventually, if something's not working, if something's not real, you're going to get called on it. That's the power. Like with our coaches, that's the power, is that we have a methodology that we teach. We have a strong pedigree. I created it. The first descendants of it are the coaches that I work with now. In 10, 20, 15 years, it's going to be a second generation, third generation, fourth generation of coaches, and it will just consistently get better because of all the work we're doing. Now, with all of that being said, let me play this video, and then I'm going to give you some pointers on how you can lose whatever weight you want to lose, whether it's 700 pounds or not. And this is a clip that it features Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory is someone I look up to. I've been honored to get to know him. I got to spend some good time with him, spoke to him quite a few times after meeting him. And what a blessing in my life to have that time with Dick Gregory. He's no longer with us, but he's an icon. He was one of the first comedians. Actually, he was the first comedian in America to do a performance in front of an all-white audience. He was big time with the civil rights movement. And he was very heavy at one point, well over 300 pounds, and lost well over 200 pounds through fasting, which was political fasting at first. And then eventually he tapped into health. And then he became this big health guru. So civil rights, comedian, health advocate in a big way. Man, I just have the utmost respect. And when I was a kid, I remember watching this episode I'm going to play for you. This episode was Dick Gregory because he was known for help. He created this weight loss program called the Bohemian Diet. If you guys ever heard of the Bohemian Diet, it was pretty popular. It's one of the first programs that the famous Tony Robbins actually sold before he became really famous and became Tony Robbins. And I remember watching it on TV. Fast forward, I end up, meeting Dick Gregory, and I bring it up to him. And we had a great conversation about it because Dick Gregory had an idea of helping people lose weight. And he wanted to help people who were stuck and nothing else worked for them. And he says, Robert, I got to a point where I didn't have the expertise. And he was talking about the mental side of things, the psychology. And so I'm going to share a little bit more with you on that. So stick with me because it could be a breakthrough opportunity for you or someone that you know. But let's begin by watching this episode of Dick Gregory wanting to help a man that weighs well over 700 pounds. Check it out.
Now, he claims he tried everything, even though he admits he loves junk food. And what better way to get publicity for a fat farm than to trim this guy down? And guess who runs the place? A guy who used to get a lot of publicity losing weight, Dick Gregory. Steve Dunlop reports.
As he struggled to get out of a stretch limo, the only passenger car big enough to carry him, Ron High's bulk was obvious. The man makes the refrigerator look like a butter knife. Ron is 33 and tips the scales at 700 pounds. A few years ago, he weighed only 400. But without increasing his food intake, he says, his weight shot up. Normal clothes are out of the question now. Ron wears anything from a tailored blanket to an automobile cover.
I've walked this long in years. I love it.
You guys ain't got no golf carts in them?
Diets of all kinds have been tried and failed on Ron. Mostly out of embarrassment, he hasn't left his Bed-Stuy apartment in nearly 3 years. So Ron has had time to do a lot of reading. A recent issue of Ebony magazine featured news about a weight loss clinic in the Bahamas run by black comedian Dick Gregory. 202 pints of water?
Yeah, that's, when you get to that, you're really flirting with death in about six months.
Gregory knows all about weight loss. He went on an anti-war hunger strike in 1967 and lost 200 pounds in 40 days.
The reason I decided to get involved with him is because he's very dedicated to what he's going to do. He's very intelligent and just a beautiful personality-wise. It's just incredible.
At no charge, Gregory will place Ron High on a fruit juice diet supplemented by nutritional powder. Chocolate donuts and Dr. Pepper, two of Ron's favorites, are out.
This is my little lady. Heck of a cook, as you can tell.
Ron High says it will take him close to 1.5 years to lose the 1/4 ton he needs to lose. But when he returns, he says he wants to wrestle the refrigerator and run in the marathon. What will he look like when he comes back? Something, he says, like a cross between Charles Atlas and Michael Jackson. From LaGuardia Airport, Steve Dunlop, Channel 5 News.
Still ahead
Wow.
of the Christmas tree for the White House.
Very interesting, isn't it? Well, let me first tell you that he did not lose the 700 pounds. And he's no longer walking this earth, nor is Dick Gregory. It didn't work out for him. And it doesn't work out for a lot of people. One of the things I did notice about the gentleman is that he had a sense of humor. And they went for it. And basically what Dick said to me was, Robert, I was missing the training or the conditioning to help him with the mindset. Well, I understand the whole psychology of it. It's a big part of our methodology and what we do with our clients. So we get that, and I understand that. But people must show up. So I'll give you an example. Every once in a while, I'll see someone on Facebook, and I can tell they're wanting to be successful. They want to lose weight or they're wanting to improve something, right? And I'll reach out to them and I'll say, hey, curious, are you looking to lose weight? If so, I'm willing to help you out. And then I'll give them a little bit of information about me, but because they don't know who I am, like not everybody, right? You have friends that you don't even know them. And a lot of these people will go, no, because in their mind, they feel somewhere inside of them that they must be able to do it on their own. That's where many people fall short when it comes to weight loss. Now, there's a woman named Jean Nidetch who totally understood this. She created a company called Weight Watchers. Now, Jean Nidetch is rolling in her grave right now because Weight Watchers is no longer the Weight Watchers that it once was, that helped millions of people lose weight successfully. Weight Watchers is now that thing that says, hey, we're going to have you on Ozempic. We're going to put you on Wegovy. We are now going to be part of the ongoing problem and just get you on drugs. That's the world we live in. That's why, as Deborah mentions here, Deborah Robinson, she says, Robert, everyone is talking about GLP helping with food noise. Why are we hearing so much about food noise? Curious on your thoughts. Well, Deborah, I talk about this all the time. I've done reports on it way before it became really popular. I've talked about the dangers of it. I think it is a disaster. I think people like Oprah and all these doctors who recommend GLP-1 drugs are just horrendous, in my opinion. I have little respect for any of them. I respect them as human beings, but they are doing a disjustice. Same as when someone puts people on metformin and they don't disclose everything. They are doing a disjustice. And of course, I'm going to say that not just because I have our own program, but because our program works. That's it. We have something that works, and it works for everybody. And I meet people all the time for years that go, yeah, I've done everything. I've done everything. Well, you ain't done this. And with all the money someone like Oprah has, she's not looking for the truth. If you're looking for the truth, and you are on your way and you're working hard to find it, Oprah would find me. I mean, Oprah knows of me, but Oprah ain't looking for the truth. Oprah is surrounded by a whole bunch of people that she wants to believe in, and they want her to believe in them because that's how they keep their job. And nobody is going to like wake up and go, "Hey, I know where you can go. Even though I'm helping you lose weight, I know a better solution for you." Now I'm gonna have to give up my job because that's why you hired me. But who's going to do that? So we live in a world right now where everyone's starting to become indoctrinated more and more and more and more to go to drugs instead of themselves. I've never, ever said that willpower is how you are successful. I've never said that. Never. Because I don't rely on willpower. I mean, in books and presentations I was doing in 1996, 97, 98, I was saying it's not about willpower. So when Oprah goes, well, I was counting on willpower in 2024. Well, I've been saying don't count on willpower for 29 years. I believe in education. It's knowing how to eat. It's learning how to eat. So when you're my client or you're working with any of our coaches, yes, we're giving you a program, but we're feeding you knowledge, putting you in a position where you can have critical thinking when it comes to health and nutrition. Some people can go and get on a program, get a menu, and just follow it like sheep. That's not what we do. I want you to know what I know. Now, some people think they know things, and those are people who are misinformed. And those that just don't know things, they're uninformed. And we totally live in a world where the uninformed are being led by the misinformed. And that is an ongoing problem. And that's why people are running to the weight loss drugs. If they knew what I know, right? As I talk about Brett the other day, Brett went from 336 pounds to 199 pounds at 6 feet tall. No drugs, no relying on anybody else. He learned how to eat. He applied it, and now he knows how to eat. I mean, what do you call that? I mean, Linda went from 249 to 129, learning how to eat. Apply, learn. And now she's a coach. She's actually helping other people. Debbie woke up at 253 pounds, totally inflamed on all types of medications. Today, she's not. She's now 150 pounds. That's 103 pounds gone. Learning how to eat. You know, Kathy dropped 264 pounds, learning how to eat. Mary went from 336 pounds to 135 pounds at 47 years old, learning how to eat. No drugs. So why am I so successful with people without drugs, without relying on all of the craziness? Because people learn how to eat. Now, if somebody doesn't want to learn and they just want to continue to be ignorant, then that's a whole different conversation. But when people discover that they can actually learn, oh man, it's a different game. I know this because when we did our first clinical trial in the state of Missouri, we work with a Medicaid population, people who they were in a situation where they didn't have a lot of resources. Money wasn't totally there. They didn't have the funds to go to Whole Foods and eat organic and have access to gyms and all that. We went to the hood. We went to rural areas. We went to areas where people were like, okay, what? And we taught them and they loved it. We had an 81% retention rate. And then when you look at the work we've done at other times, we're able to reverse type 2 diabetes in 93% of the people who come to us. So anyone who's living with diabetes, if you are living with type 2 diabetes and you're not working with one of our coaches, if you're not working with me, what is wrong? What are we not explaining here? Why do you want to just live with it? Then that's some psychological stuff going on. You see what I mean? There's and you may have money, you may be living in a nice house, you may have a nice car, you may be on the outside looking like you got it going on, but hey, let's face it, let's keep it real. You don't got it going on. I mean, I know a whole bunch of wealthy people that are sticking themselves with Ozempic and some of these drugs. With all that money and all that education, they're that ignorant. And that's a compliment to call them ignorant, because I didn't say stupid. Ignorant means you're unaware. Stupid is the meaning. So I'm just going to say you're unaware. You're just hoping that they become aware. Now, I do have those clients. They become aware and they still don't get it. They still go somewhere else. That's some mental stuff going on. There's an imbalance. Like they're off. And yes, they're functioning, but I'm telling you, there's something wrong. So they're dealing with depression. They're just not mentally in a good, healthy place. So that needs to be addressed, which goes back to work I was doing in the 90s. When I wanted to better understand bariatric surgery, I went all the way to Hawaii, met with the #1 psychologist, rest her soul, she's no longer here. Sat down, I interviewed her for 3 hours, and she was the one who would actually meet with people before they got bariatric surgery. And keep in mind, when you're in Hawaii, you got Tongas, Samoans, you got people who their culture says the bigger you are, the more beautiful you are. And some of those people were wanting to like not be that heavy. They wanted to get smaller. So they were opting for bariatric surgery, you know. And I asked her point blank, I said, hey, if everyone were to go and really improve their self-esteem, do you think we would still need bariatric surgery? And she says, no. You're right, Robert. So if people love themselves more, and this is open for debate, and I would debate anyone on it. What this psychologist told me 30 years ago is so true to this day. So when you guys see all these people wanting to get on these drugs, there's two things to keep in mind. One, they're ignorant. They don't know of other ways. And that's not a dig, because Oprah didn't know about the Diet for Your Life methodology. I got people right now, I have people who pay me and disappear. It's a mental thing. And unfortunately, when your gut you have dysbiosis, like an imbalance of the gut, you have a deficiency of omega-3, which we're seeing more and more people have, then there's some mental disorder. There's a depression. It's hard to get moving. And the best thing they could do is to somehow muster up the courage, the strength to like do a coach call with me. But many people they just, I don't know why they do that. I really don't. All I know is that if I can get them and talk to them and start working with them, I can help them. And then you can move forward. Other people just give up on themselves. And once you give up on yourself once in any area of life, you will give up again. You know, when I used to work with pro boxers, they know that once a guy quits in a corner, that means he stops and gives up. He'll give up again, because we become okay with it. It's like once you lie, you tell yourself, I'm going to work out every day this week, and you don't do it, then you get used to lying to yourself, and it's okay. Even though you would never do that to your best friend, because they wouldn't put up with it. But when it's ourselves, we get in the habit of being okay with not coming through for ourselves. And that shows up in other areas of your life, right? Because if you do it in weight loss, you'll do it in other areas. That's why I have clients that I've been coaching for over 20 years. Not one or two, a lot. So anyway, let's see what kind of questions you guys have, because this is a crazy world we are living in, you know. And it's funny, like the other day I did a post on J-Lo. And I'm not judging J-Lo. I don't know J-Lo. I met her once. I don't care to know J-Lo. And back in the day, she used to be on a TV show with some of my friends, and they used to call her J-Ho. Okay, that could be a little mean, but that's what they did. That's just factual. And so my daughters bring up J-Lo because they see her on TikTok. And in the conversation, I said, why aren't you guys supporting J-Lo? So a whole bunch of young people just don't want to support her. And it was interesting to hear from my kids. And so then I was like, you know what, let me do a post. And so I do a post, and what I discovered, because my mom even called me on this post, and this all ties into the psychology of what we're talking about. It really does. So my mom, my mom reaches out to me, and she's like, "I don't think you should be making comments like that about J-Lo." I said, "What comment? What comment did I make that's bad?" I didn't judge her. I'm sharing. It's an opinion piece. An opinion piece is when you put something out there and you open it up for people to share their opinion. You're not judging anybody. But we live in a world where there's so many people looking for a reason to be upset. They find a way to personalize it, to come up with something deep down inside them that they will attack, instead of being able to like look at it for what it is. Like, I have people that will post and they'll say Joe Biden's a great president. I mean, I don't attack them. I just go, wow. So I'm curious because there's probably something I'm not aware of. Can you please share with me? I would like to know why you feel that. And it would be the same, like if someone said, Trump is a disaster and I would say, wow, okay, I would love to hear it. And then they express themselves. I don't get mad. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't like get ready to fight people. It's just, okay, it's an opinion piece. Now, maybe because I'm a journalist, I get that. I really can stay neutral and I don't need to argue and fight people. And that's how I would approach losing weight and how I approach nutrition, how I approach fitness, and how I approach the mindset of being successful is, I guess, learning to surrender or just be humble and not be ready to fight. So if you have 700 pounds to lose, 100 pounds, 10 pounds, obviously you got to have the right vehicle to get you to where you want to get to. But the 3 legs are equally important. Mindset, figure out what's your reason why. The way you eat, the way you move. This is why, like, when I say that, when I see people post things on social media and they say, I'm taking this supplement and it's doing everything. Like, I have this client, he hangs out with all these young kids and they're, trying to get muscle, and he wants to get muscle and he's feeling good hanging out with them. And they're popping all of these supplements. Like, oh, dude, as a former pro athlete, as a guy who's worked with people, I've gotten them all up to the Olympic level, world-class level. I've worked with some of the best athletes in my sports that I've worked in. I have never, ever relied on supplements to get there, and we got there. We're successful without all of that crap. So add some substance to it, right? Like, there's an omega-3 supplement that is real food that I recommend, I endorse, and I'm a big believer in right now. Huge. And I know that omega-3, 90+% of all people are deficient in omega-3. And because they're deficient in omega-3, what are some of the symptoms of being deficient? Well, fatigue, candida, joint pain, discomfort, inflammation, insulin resistance, and the list goes on and on. That's not just throwing something out there. It's like, hey, let me give you some value. There's substance. So substance needs to be part of what we're putting out there, regardless of what we're recommending to people. Not just like, here's a pill, take this. Anyway, I got to go, but let's see what you guys got to say. Let's see if somebody says something I should read. There's Sandy. She says, because you research and teach, you are always learning. I am always learning. That is 100%. Cheryl from Australia says they already put heart disease patients on special diets, which they admit isn't working. You know what? It's crazy. Cheryl says, good day, Robert. The government here in Australia, the Therapeutic Goods Association, FDA equivalent, in Australia are now recommending Ozempic, of course. I'm telling you, people are getting paid, man. We have lost our way. Well, I haven't, but there's going to be a lot of people, and there's going to be some drawbacks to all this. There's going to be some drawbacks. Well, anyway, I hope that was helpful. It was a little sad that the guy, losing 700 pounds didn't make it. It really is. But it was very, rewarding to meet Dr. Dick Gregory and see how humble he was to say, hey, I was missing something. I helped him. I knew what to eat. I knew how to get him moving, but I was missing something that was deep. And that's the psychology of it. That's where some of us are missing. And the lady I met 30 years ago, that's what she said. We wouldn't need bariatric surgery if people loved themselves more, if we were much stronger mentally. If we can do the work here on the inside, then everything flourishes on the outside. So you have those friends who you look at them, you go, man, don't you want to lose weight? Don't you want to get better? Don't you want to improve? It's not about knowing how to eat. I mean, that's part of it, but it's not just about that. It's not just about being active and working out. What is going on inside of their head? What is their background like? You know, I talk about adverse childhood experiences. That's real. That is real. So anyway, if we continue to work on ourselves, we can put ourselves in a position where we will win. If we don't work on ourselves, and I'm talking about what's going on in our head, then it's going to be hard to make everything work. It's like having 2 legs to a stool. You want 3 legs, and they're all equal to each other. So if you're missing one, then don't expect to have long-term results. Whatever you're doing may help for a moment, but it's going to be a moment. That's why when people do keto, it works for a moment and they protect it and they're like, I'm doing it. And then where are they, 3 years later? Same as these drugs, you guys, these weight loss drugs. Watch them. Watch these people. The outcome is not going to be good. And then they're off to the next thing. And they'll never fix what could have easily been fixed with proper education and having the right mindset. I'm Robert Ferguson. I share because I care. If you want to reach out, I'm here for you. I really am. This is real. And we do bring the deal. So reach out. And if you don't want to reach out and schedule a free consultation, at least get our newsletter so you can be informed, get some free recipes, etc. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Go over to our YouTube channel. We're real close to hitting our first big number. 3,000. I want to get to 3,000, which is, very small, but that's a big deal. And then we'll hit 5,000 soon, and then it'll be 10,000. And then one day we'll have 100,000, and then one day we'll have 1 million. That's where it's going. I can see it. And I'm putting everything in place for this to actually become a reality. So I'm Robert Ferguson. To the next one, you guys be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.